And I'm trying to think of a topic that left a worse taste in the mouths of the public over the last few months. Not tactics by ICE, not defunding public broadcasting, not even more Medicaid restrictions. But if you try to take away our public lands, Misty, we're going to have something to say about that from both sides of the aisle. Whether it's for conservation, hunting, hiking, fishing, or just the comfort of knowing they will always be there. The idea of selling off millions of acres has been a non-starter for many. And while the talk of doing so was squashed in Congress earlier this year, one state lawmaker says it's time to make sure that can never happen in Idaho by locking that promise into the state constitution. Hunter Funk sat down with Senator Ben Adams of Nampa to hear how his proposal would work and why he believes it's something in which every Idahoan should have a say.
For State Senator Ben Adams,
he takes his tackle box, his net, and his fishing pole and wheels it down. I'm not kidding you.
The idea of protecting Idaho's public land started far from the capital and closer to the water's edge.
My son was asking me to go fishing every day as it got warmer and warmer and warmer. And so that's what we did as soon as session ended, and it got my mind thinking about our public lands.
And thinking about the fact that under current rules, the state can sell the property it acquires.
There's no mechanism to protect them. Every mechanism and every trust that we have in the state right now has the option to sell it. I started working on an amendment that would give an opportunity for us to not sell land that comes into the possession of the state.
Adams says it was an idea even before Senator Mike Lee from Utah proposed a bill to sell off millions of acres of federal lands.
The idea of selling it off is a non-starter, and that's exactly what I heard during the Mike Lee proposal was, hell no. If I wasn't motivated to bring this forward before then, it really kicked me into high gear.
His proposal is an Idaho constitutional amendment, which he plans to introduce in January at the start of the 2026 session.
Yeah, this is a change to the Idaho Constitution. The only people who can change the Idaho Constitution are the Idahoan citizens. And that's why it goes before them. It's their Constitution. It's where their rights and their privileges are enshrined. And once land goes into this trust, it cannot be sold, it cannot be transferred. It is locked in, protected in perpetuity.
Adams says it wouldn't prevent Congress from selling federal land, but it would send a strong message and prohibit Idaho from being forced to sell land if it's given to the state.
It will still be overseen by the land board, right, who also oversees the endowment funds. A key difference here is the endowment funds have a mechanism in there that says they have to be used for the maximum financial return to the institution. And so that has been interpreted as, oh, well, we're not making enough money on this land, so we're going to sell it and put that money in the stock market. In this new trust, that mechanism is not there, that requirement is not there. So there's no incentive to sell.
Adams wants to ensure future generations will still get to use the same land available today, so those fishing trips stay in the family.
And I think it changes the discussion. Instead of it being, well, we have all this land, we should sell it off, the sell-off needs to be off the table. The discussion needs to shift to, well, who's going to manage it, how's it going to be managed, and who's it going to benefit? And I think the answer to that is usually the state should manage as much land as we can actually manage, and the land should benefit the people.
Senator Adams plans to officially unveil the amendment later this week. It also has a really long way to go still. If it clears the legislature this upcoming session, the Idaho voters will have to get the final say and vote it in 2026.
Yeah, because then it would go to the vote on the ballot.
Yep.
Anytime you change the Constitution, that's kind of what happens. Okay, so just some perspective, though. I guess first, let me ask you this. Bipartisan support, I'm sure, for something like this, right?
I mean, you mentioned it before, right?
Yeah.
Everyone, when we found out that lands were going to be taken, it seemed like everybody kind of came together despite political party and said, no, I want our lands.
Yeah.
It should be kept to us.
I mean, Idaho's last Democratic governor, Cecil Andrus, was very much an outdoorsman and very much believed in this stuff, so that's obvious. But I wanted to put that in perspective when it comes to how much land, because the discussion a couple months ago was the federal land. Idaho is like 62% federal land. We only have about 2.5 million acres of state-owned land, so a much smaller portion.
Yes.
Is that going to make a difference? Do you think that'll give enough of a say or a push?
I mean, I think so. I think the other big thing too, I asked about management because I was like, okay, like, can we handle managing that amount? Because he mentioned, he goes 30% likely, but it would be discussions of like how we manage that further, which then you'd see other pieces of legislation come forward as well.
Okay, all right, thanks, Hunter. Yeah, we'll pay attention this session.